Here we have the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. So this is valid August 1st through the 5th of 2025. Issued yesterday, the 26th. You can see there's a large portion of the eastern part of the country that has a good chance of being below normal temperatures, even pushing into the mid-south, possibly the deep south, at least being average. Now, folks, sorry, folks along Texas and Florida, looks like it's going to stay hot, unfortunately. As far as precip, going through the same period, we have a good part of the country with above normal chance of excessive rainfall. With of course, in the Northeast, going to be somewhat drier because higher pressure will be building down from the north, and it's suppressed any precip down here, and likely there's what you're seeing here is a stationary boundary setting up at some point in this area. We go 8 to 14 days out, still almost near normal. Well, probability of being near normal, so equal chances of being above or below, but so it's supposed to be near normal. Maybe 1 or 2 degree above or below normal, but that's not a bad thing. You could see still some hotter temperatures likely along the Gulf Coast and desert Southwest. And look at Canada. I mean Alaska. Um, Typically, we get this pattern like this. We have a trough in the east. High pressure builds way up into Canada, into Alaska, and they get above normal temperatures. As far as precip goes, still good portion of the country above normal precip chances when they're normal along the mid-Atlantic, East Coast, Ohio Valley, and below normal in the desert Southwest, the third through the ninth. Move forward to the 3 to 4 week temperature outlook. Equal chances of being above or below normal right now, with a good portion of the country likely above normal, except along the California coast and parts of Alaska. I know I don't talk about Alaska a lot, but when we get really hot temperatures up there, I'm sure they're not used to that. Excuse me, my allergies are really bad today. 3 to 4 precip chances. This is a kind of a broader brush this far out, above normal in the southeast up into the mid-Atlantic, into the deep south, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee. Monsoon is returning to the desert Southwest with below normal in the Midwest here, Ohio Valley. The monthly temperature outlook. So this is valid for the whole month of August. This is issued July 17th, so about a week ago. So for the whole month of August, we're looking at most of the country having above normal chance of it being above normal. So in a small sliver in the little Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, and northward up into the Illinois, Ohio Valley, parts of the Midwest. And if we move forward to the monthly precip outlook for August, you got a big, like a really good chance above normal precip chances, above normal chances of getting more than normal precip for the month of August. Getting tongue-tied, and below normal in the northern tier up into the northwest. So if we move into the seasonal temperature outlook, August through October, what a surprise. Almost the whole nation plus Alaska. Looks like above normal chance of it being above normal. So, yeah, it's going to stay warm, hot, it looks like. As far as the seasonal outlook for the next 3 months for precip, again in the southeast, up in the mid-Atlantic, looks like we're going to have a good chance of having above normal precip um, chances. Alaska too, and then the upper Midwest, high plains down into the desert Southwest a little bit below normal, and the other areas equal chances. And the risk of heavy precip, I wanted to pull this up. Of a moderate risk, August 8th, August 2nd through the 3rd along the southeast coast here. And we'll talk about why in part of this video as well. And it expands westward and southward parts into Florida. Slight risk 2nd through the 5th, and a slight risk of heavy precip, which this time of year is not snow, it's rain. So that's that. And I'm going to talk more about why we're going to cool off for a good portion of the eastern U.S. I'm also going to talk about why there's going to be a lot more precip wherever our frontal boundary sets up that has pushed southward to bring the cooler temps to the good portion of the eastern portion of the country. So, time for your tropical update. Excuse me. So, I like to show this every time I start my tropical update here. You can see, again, excuse me, the European model plus the AI models from Google wants to develop maybe a tropical depression in the middle Atlantic over time here and move its energy up and along the East Coast. But really, none of these models really are depicting anything major right now. What's interesting is the Weather Next Gen model. And no, this is not in our area, but it wants to develop a tropical system down here in the South Atlantic, which is really weird because I think it's latching onto an extratropical cyclone of some kind. Anyway, you could see in the Central Pacific, especially, look like it's going to get quite active, and even in the Eastern Pacific, multiple systems developing, forecast to develop for quite a long time here. The East Pacific and has really been busy this time of year, a lot busier than last year. Anyway, one way I like to look at this from the Atlantic perspective is wind shear in the atmosphere. And the European model, this is the ensembles. You can see where the greatest wind shear between the lower levels of the atmosphere and higher levels is. And tropical systems don't like that, and they won't form, or if they do form, they'll get ripped apart. if they enter a high shear environment. But you can see, um, excuse me, along the northern tier of the country here, of course, that's where our system is building. And they want to develop a low pressure off the east coast here. That's likely a frontal low. I don't think that's a tropical system at all. But anyway, it wants to develop something under this high pressure cell right over top of it. And tropical systems like to have high pressure aloft because it helps evacuate, create lower pressure at the surface, and well, helps evacuate all the rising air outward, which allows more air to rush inward, which, and by definition, how you create low pressure, really. This is more complicated than that, but that's kind of the basics. You see that high pressure cell kind of keeps moving and then kind of gets pinched off when it reaches the Caribbean. There's quite a bit of wind shear still in the Caribbean, and continues to be the case in the long term. Overall troughiness along the Gulf Coast here, according to the Climate Prediction Center, could lead to some possible homegrown development in the future. The American model ensembles, which is 31 members, kind of wants to do the same thing here, but doesn't really develop a low pressure. It wants to develop a higher pressure aloft with no depiction of a low pressure at all. And it's high pressure off the East Coast here, and some flow to the west. Looks like a tut developing out here in the mid-Atlantic. Anyway, not too favorable really for development. I want to see. I want to go through the. I have to go to the European. I want to look at the relative humidity values, and this gives me a good idea of winds and humidity, dew point, like how much moisture is available for these systems to develop. And you can see kind of a narrow corridor along the East Coast here, going all the way back in the Gulf. A lot of dry air still in the tropics, and this wave pocket kind of gets, maybe stays congruent over time. I know the European wants to maybe develop something. This is operational run. I don't know. Anyway, you have a couple different waves moving through the flow here. They kind of are surrounded by dry air, and really nothing really gets going. A lot of dry air still in the tropics. And if, especially in the Caribbean as well. And as long as that continues, it's going to be hard for tropical systems to get going. And with the wind shear and everything else, if we do get systems, they're going to be rather weak and won't last long. So I'm not that bullish on the anything in the Atlantic developing, but it's still early August, and really stuff doesn't get going until the middle of August, September. September's peak, so we should see activity ramp up in the coming weeks. That's all I got for today. This video is rather long. I apologize, but I wanted to go over a bunch of stuff today. So have a good day.